Good afternoon, Abbotsford residents. I'm Mr. Pelican. I'm running for your Commander-in-Chief of Abbotsford, and the first thing we're going to do is get rid of the Abbotsford Police Force. That's a hard thing to swallow, but the truth is too overwhelming of what these men did in uniform and what they carried out in uniform, making them untrustworthy in any other police force. They can't be transferred. Gone. Gone. Attempted murder, leaving me for dead, threatening our South Asians. It was an elite ring like Adolf Hitler did. It was only a foregone conclusion how long before a private police was going to get owned for the trillions of dollars. Mike Sir and Henry Braun, Ed Fast and them set it up. We owe Darren Braun for that information a tremendous thanks against his dad. I only could draw to this conclusion that they weren't cutting him in and he was doing all the dirty work, and he got mad and told the wrong person. I want to tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. Abbotsford residents and myself owe the mission men and women in the RCMP a tremendous thanks for everything they did for Abbotsford, for families, and for coming together to help Abbotsford. Today I stand on a scam and I want to show you. I told you my credentials are working with Peter Wall, Aquilini, Stuart Olson, Mike Dakota, and Ani. I told you the World Olympics, which I'm proud. I do all the podcasts in showing you how they come together. I showed you the 71 million stole out of the Abbotsford by Unitech, the cost overruns, and how the city's supposed to hold the developer responsible. I showed you that Henry worked his ass off to get Bruce and Mo and everybody's scandal that he couldn't get under his thumb. And then Henry worked his ass off in the city setting up the official community plan worth millions. Today I want to show you a heart-shucking story of what takes place in a scam and how you work a scam. Because my Abbotsford police are too busy picking up prostitute, racing Dodge Chargers, beating African-American kids in the parks, threatening people. They're too busy out smashing cameras and working political platforms than doing investigation. The Abbotsford police have to and must be removed out of this town. Them guys were in organized crime. And once you start this, it's just a foregone conclusion they were covering up when one of their friends do a stab and, oh, he's my buddy, don't do it. We don't need forensic and investigations into Abbotsford Police. We need a removal and we need to go after the top and start charging, and that's what we must do to make our police responsible. But don't forget, this took the shit kicker Ed Fast at the top, the MP, the new better, that's why the RCMP said go see him. So Augustine Billionaire wanted to bail up in Augustine. It was Eric Nivel that's released an article years ago about Henry and Darren Braun, and Darren Braun was the economic development officer and all this scam. It was Abbotsford residents that walked in and saw it. When I saw this, I knew from developers how you can walk things through the back door and benefit. Henry and his council were collaborating in his house, and then came with an article printed by the Abbotsford News. It doesn't fit the official community plan because it was not benefiting Henry. When the Augustine Billionaire promised to bring the water here, the sewers here, give a dowry to UFE for $100 million, do it all at his cost. Henry couldn't get in that billionaire's back pocket. And that didn't just, them conglomerate guys Henry couldn't own. And that upset Henry, so he got council to strike it down. Dave Lowens went on Facebook and he posted out posts, you know, about bylaws and signs and everything else. Dave Lowens was a man that walked into Blue Ridge on private property, took my mayor signs down and posted his because he had an in with Henry and the Abbotsford Police, and Henry needed me on council to pass all the decisions. And you can go look at Dave Lowens' post. He shut his mouth when I told him Blue Sky is Darren Braun and he's got his signs all on the sidewalk. He can't tell Magna, being an alderman, to go get them signs down. So let me tell you what happens. This is how it works. This is up at Ledgeview. This is Polygon site that they're planning. These residents have been complaining for weeks and months now about Polygon signs laying in the grass down on there. Now the developer would walk in, and he would knock them signs down and put them on the ground, working the deals with council. We saw what happened on Cooper's Farm, how they rigged that and said, oh, it doesn't matter, 3,000 people don't get a say. So, because we knew Henry was in the back pockets, Henry said housekeeping did it. It wasn't Peter Sparanese, it was Henry and his bloody wife on Sunday taking it off the dockets. So how does this help a developer? A sign must be locked in firm on 8x8 posts and post on 4 places of the property for the general public to see. If you're not down and nobody pays attention to it, they figure that the developer got stopped and the residents go away, it got stopped. And then creeping through the back door, all of a sudden you find in Vicky Hope's and Ken's rag newspaper, Polygon's been approved because Henry owns Polygon that favor. If he doesn't get these jobs that he promised through, oh, I don't want to be in Henry's shoes anymore. I don't want to be in Dave Lowen's or Ross Siemens' shoes because you ripped the developers off. And that there spells bad trouble, really bad trouble. I'm all about allowing Abbotsford for development. I don't want to stop development. I'm allowing you to have and not preferential treatment over our residents, bring extra workers in and extra staff, and we'll help you, we'll increase that. But I'm not allowed about cheating. That led to threats. So this sign's supposed to be up and posted firm. So now in a few months, you'll see Polygon's been approved, and you'll see residents outraged, and they'll say the sign was there for a whole year. You know, it's just you guys, you knew it was there and everything else. The city will send Magna, take a few pictures, but bylaw's been called. Dave Lowen's, loudmouth Dave Lowen's has been called, and everybody's been pushing up here to get Polygon to put it on big, firm posts like big developers do. They put it on 8x8 posts, they lock it in, and that's it. If you don't, it halts the job site. Henry went after every other developer, but his friends for preferential treatment. Ron Funkadiverse, who ran Ross Siemens on his job site with city councils. I showed you Polygon on the Cooper farm, and he was running the city councils, which I learned from Peter Wall. You can't run mayor and council on your job site. Now they owe you, and thanks for all the money, all the advertising, and all your friends. Ron Funk, remember, had his workers and his project, his first aid guys and all the people that work there and superintendents in Dave Sidhu's Capriccio newspaper as working the phones to load Ross Siemens. This is what took place in my city. This happened because we don't got a police force. We got a useless bunch of pathetic men that violate our time cards, rip our taxpayers off, use the police for a name to get away with everything they did, and increase their checks, their overtime, and everything, and don't do proper investigations, just scum of the land. And they got to be called out, and they got to be removed on a free ride, increasing the police budget, want new vehicles, and everything else, picking up prostitutes, beating our kids, and everything. This doesn't happen in Chilliwack. Henry can't set it up, and he can't set it up in Mission. Let me tell you why. The RCMP are there. So I want to tell Dave Lowens, who walked onto Blue Ridge and took my sign down with your mouth running everywhere and being Henry's lackey to show you're propping up Ross and residents, as long as the aldermen outvote you, it goes through. That's wrong. This is how these threats end, and this is preferential treatment, and it also is payoffs. And that's why they did it. So why the Augustine billionaire got blocked, who was going to do it all, was because Henry saw the potential of one of his friends owning it up here and then having the green door in there. And he told him, in my opinion, I got council with me, I got everybody with me, I'll use Vicky Hope's and Abbotsford News to push down to make it look good. So I want to make sure my BC Conservatives, my NDP, and one BC all know this is what's taking place in Abbotsford, British Columbia, with developers and preferential treatment. And this is what led to threats. But our weak, shithole, garbage police force, just garbage, just absolute garbage, beating the South Asians, picking up prostitutes, racing our Dodge charges, and all this. We have to remove it so residents can speak freely and not Henry go and say, go beat them up. They're bringing me controversy on that stuff. I don't want the NDP, or I don't want Bruce Banman or the Conservatives to see. I need this to lay down so I can get it through. It's worth millions of dollars to me. I'm live up here at Ledgeview, and I would expect the man who did the podcast on all this stuff up at Ledgeview, Eric Nivel, would just come out and do a podcast. And that is what I learned from big developers, live, Abbotsford, British Columbia.